participating in the second Europe-India Chamber of Commerce. The past which we've left behind for India is no model for the future.
India is already a global power. The world only have to recognize it, has to see the potential. 1.1 billion people and diverse culture and diverse resources. And I think we may have to put forward to the world, as you correctly said, it's incredible India when it comes to tourism and credible India when it comes to business.
Yes, well, India's diversity is, when we say that India's getting global, India's getting globally strong, it is not only in economic terms, but the diversity of India,
Correct.
The spirituality of India, which you so epitomize. And in this, that is what the world looks at. It's just not economic strength. You have countries in the Middle East which are very economically strong, which have all kinds of resources of revenue from oil. But being rich and being respected are two different things. Mm-hmm. And so people are not looking at India merely in terms of its economic strength, but looking at India with respect. That's why I say a credible India. When they see that India manages its diversity, and you had the Soviet Union which could not manage its diversity, and there's nothing left of the Soviet Union.
Correct. And also not safe place for investors to come and invest in that. In that sense, India is a very credible place. It has proved to be.
Well, as our Prime Minister says, that investment is an article of faith. And it is that faith, rather that trust, which evolves into a faith.
Absolutely.
Which then creates that comfort.
And I think like when you all tour and you instill the faith and trust back again in people, you see, it reaffirms their faith to come to India. And
yes, India is on the radar today, not only because of its growth rate, but because of its credible institutions. How India manages itself in terms of a democracy, in terms of a rule of law, in terms of its institutions, whether it's our banking institutions, it's our stock exchange. These are all institutions, and how we are able to separate all of it and yet create a great combine.
I see that there are 7 main areas which India is very, can exploit it more, like tourism, same with Ayurveda and yoga, and food, varieties of food in the country.
Yes, Ayurveda is very important. The traditional Indian medicine is now going to have a very central role. Even the large pharmaceutical companies are looking at how to integrate traditional medicine.
They're trying to go herbal.
Traditional medicine with biotech. And again, India forms a very good platform for this. Food, we have more mangoes than they have fruits. More varieties of mangoes than what they have fruits. So people see this, and for them it becomes sometimes mind-boggling.
But tell me, but still why our agriculture industries, why it's still lagging behind in spite of having so much diversity?
We have 650 million people, 65 crore people in agriculture. Agriculture in India is subsistence agriculture. It's not commerce. The land holding patterns are largely 1 hectare and 1.5 hectares.
Small land holdings.
Very small land holdings. So when we had the food revolution, the agricultural revolution, India again was very India specific. We had our agricultural revolution with the bullock cart, not with the tractor. And if you were to tell the Western world that in India we had a food revolution by the bullock cart, they will again feel shocked and surprised. 40% of our fruits and vegetables rot. 40% rot because there's no cold chain.
Lack of planning on part of farmers?
No, there's no cold chain because the packing, the processing, the preservation, the cold. In Europe, you will see refrigerated trucks. In India, you can drive 1,000 kilometers and you will never see a refrigerated truck. So 40% goes waste. now these issues are being addressed.
I think our Prime Minister is doing a lot in this respect
Yes,
now.
our Prime Minister has laid the highest priority.
He has a great vision for farmers.
Absolutely, and he's laid the highest priority in the cold chain, the cold storage, the cold movement, the food processing part.
And infrastructure.
And infrastructure. This is really infrastructure. If you don't have a road, you may have a truck, or if your truck is not going to happen. So, sir, you're right in this, and I think these are very important. What you've said are very, very important aspects where the world recognizes India.
Same with the varieties of dance and music India has, cultural diversities, and same with jewelries and garments. These are the industries. I think, of course, IT is there, which has really put India on the map, on the world map. We have brilliant minds in India. They all need just a little push, perhaps.
Yes, the mind is seamless. The mind is borderless. The limitation is when you put your own boundary on your own mind. That is when you limit yourself.
Yeah.
Because if your mind is not has no borders, then knowledge has no borders.
Correct.
In IT, we've succeeded. Gem jewelry. 11 out of 12 pieces of diamonds in any piece of jewelry in the world are cut and polished in India.
In India. Oh.
Even here in Brussels, if one is to go to Antwerp, you will see that it is all...
Yeah, it's all by Indians.
And most of the people who met me here are people in the diamond business. Today, Belgium is one of the biggest countries engaged in its economic engagement with India because of diamonds. When we tell people that there's Germany, UK and Belgium, and France and Italy comes later, is because of the diamonds. The cutting and polishing of diamonds. That's again our traditional skills, our heritage.
I often use a phrase called globalizing wisdom, knowledge of identity, that you can identify yourself with anybody, anything. A wider scope of personality development, as our Vedanta and spirituality and sees us. And the world needs it today. That helps them to get over stress and strain and day-to-day pressures of work. That broad vision India has given to the world as an example, we can coexist with all diversities, differences. Not just coexist or tolerate each other, but love each other.
Well, the ethos of India is harmony of society.
Harmony.
And that's the bedrock of India. And any assault, today harmony is being assaulted all over the world. India is an example where it's a harmonious society.
Yeah.
By nature, India is a very harmonious society.
And accepting and accommodating.
Accepting and the tolerance.
Tolerance.
Even the Hindu religion allows you to worship so many gods at the same time. I many times say that we have a democracy where we have a democracy which is at times flowing out of our spirituality, our heritage. And people are intrigued by this. People are intrigued by this, that how can India as a society, and sir, you rightly said that it's the tolerant society. The tolerance of India is appreciated now all over the world.
I say, that we need to, as Indians, we need to learn teamwork from Japanese, precision from Germans, efficacies from British. They're and marketing skills from Americans. They are very good in marketing, and I would reserve the human values from Indians.
Absolutely. When people are looking to imbibe the human values of India, they want it. I think sometimes we don't know how to deliver. When you say that people need it and India has it, how do we deliver it?
Okay.
So the need is there, the people who want it is there.
Proper packaging is necessary.
Yeah, we are not able to deliver it.
Yeah.
And your great role in doing this worldwide is, I think, so remarkable, where people are learning more and more about India.
India needs that place. India is a leader, in many of these aspects, and it deserves its rightful place. And I think it's coming up with, in many ways, whether spiritually, through knowledge industry, now economically, and population-wise, we are the youngest country.
Growing younger.
Growing.
Well, sir, if you provide leadership on spirituality and on these values, we are not people who can do it. We can do leadership in other things. And I think that void can be then filled up.
I think everyone has their own roles to play. As I say, the religious and spiritual leaders should not go into politics.
No.
They should keep away from politics. At the same time, they should inspire the morality in the society, and especially when people are committing suicide and Naxalism and this sort of. There, I feel that spiritual touch brings the transformation in them.
So I think politics needs spirituality, needs an element of spirituality.
Absolutely.
Because politics, I have no hesitation in saying, is not looked upon well. It is degenerated. Politics in India after independence was of a different kind. Today it's a different kind, where people are looking as politicians not being the best of people. And that doesn't do good to our polity. And if it doesn't do good to our polity, it doesn't do good to democracy.
I agree.
There has to be an element of a value system back in politics. Because politics is only a vehicle towards an end. It's not an end to itself.
I would say spiritualize the politics and secularize the religions.
Yes, absolutely. We can spiritualize the politics, and the ingredients which are so necessary for politics sometimes are not in the right proportions.
We need to make a distinction between religion and spirituality, where spirituality is all encompassing, unites people. Religion tends to keep people separate. So they both have their own places. But a secular outlook towards religion can bring us to a spirituality which can encompass people from all different traditions and faith groups, unite them, bind them in one human values.
Absolutely. You see, it's the miscarriage of religion which has led to religion being divisive. And if religion is used as a basis either for politics or for division, it only disintegrates society.
Absolutely.
And religion again is only a means for attainment of so much more. But if religion gets miscarried, then religion becomes the problem, not the solution.
Another thing I found among our youths, you give them 10 projects, ask them to choose any one and be an entrepreneur. Seldom people reject it. They don't want to do it. All that they want is a government job. They want easy money, want government job. There we need to do something with the youths. We did certain experiments with youth leadership training programs, where government, of course, you float number of schemes, but their rural youths are not utilizing any of them. That negative trend in the mind need to be changed. Unless we do this, any number of schemes, the youths down there in the grassroots level, they are not making use of it. This is where I feel that we need to give them a lot of training on that, self-confidence, and then educate them on practical tools, practical skills.
Vocational training is very important, and now in government we have decided that the ITIs, we had the industrial training institutes, In fact, whichever state can have good industrial training institutes is going to be the state which would really progress. What's happening in the villages in rural India in the agricultural sector is that a youngster goes to college, he gets educated. Then he goes for a job, he can't get the job, so he's neither fit for the job and he's neither fit for the village.
Village, yes.
So that's a great dilemma for him. The other part is this, that now things are changing. People are looking with this great change which is taking place in India. Youngsters are no more looking. It was a mindset because they saw that government job was a comfortable job, provided the security. And now, recently, youth have started looking at any job and looking at exciting jobs.
In the school curriculum, you know, and by high school, see, many of them drop out by high school. They don't go further to university at all. So within that range, if they know how to plant a few trees, how to repair a pump or fix a bulb, these small things, if this could be incorporated within the school curriculum, somehow, you know, of course, educationalists have to sit together and, you know, reorient people for that type of training. I think China has done it to some extent.
China has done some bit. We have set up this knowledge commission. It comes under our knowledge commission, that what is the kind at various levels, what is the knowledge a school dropout must have, what is the knowledge college dropout must have. And the knowledge commission is addressing this, that not only what they should, but how they will be able to get that training or get that skill. So vocational training is a very, very high priority today for us in India.
In politics, we have to see that, you know, many times, whether in politics or in spiritual religion, you know, that we have to be aware of the psychopaths. Many times they don't let the right information come to us. So sometimes what I do is I take off 10 days, Agyatwas. I just take the car and just go into the village, find out myself for the first hand, you know, how our Seva projects are happening, whether happening or not happening, and what are the real difficulties there. So it's sort of being in touch with the people direct. This sort of check in our work in between somehow, you know, sometimes boosts the morale of the people and help also the level of different layers where people are functioning a little more efficient.
It is, so many of our government programs just don't deliver, don't reach the people. They remain in the files, they remain en route, and so much of money is lost, so much leakage takes place, and the monitoring system is still weak, because what is good on a piece of paper doesn't translate onto the ground.
Yeah.
And I myself, in my own constituency, in my own district, time to time see this. And I've seen that no matter how hard I try, the success rate sometimes is so poor. And I'm seeing this for last 27 years now. So
I think here, you know, NGOs, that's where NGOs, the government, and then the other agencies, everyone, if they work together, I think we can do a great job. Like we have been doing in Vidarbha, with the farmers. With the government and the NGOs, our NGOs are working together and has made a good impact.
इसमें जिम्मेदारी और चुनौतियां भी बहुत हैं।
वो तो चुनौती लेके तो आगे बढ़ते हैं।
हाँ, चुनौती का केवल सामना ही नहीं करना, पर सफलता से सामना करना, यही सबसे बड़ी, मैं समझता हूँ, परीक्षा होती है।
वो ईश्वर की वो बल है हम लोगों के साथ, हिंदुस्तान के साथ। That we draw strength from that, you know, from the divine. So when we have good intention and we want to do some work, it just happens.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.